Good morning. My name is Keith Walach, and I welcome you today to our topic on self-care. This is a series of topics brought to you by Preferred Systems. And we first want to talk about, since the focus of these webinars, these topics, is on the person suffering from substance abuse and how it impacts the especially during this crisis of COVID-19 that we are having. A little bit about myself. I've been counseling since 1985. I've been doing drug and alcohol counseling since 1991. And I currently work for Glen Bay, drug and alcohol, doing outpatient in their intensive outpatient program. And I can assure you that this COVID has affected my clients. So the first part of this webinar, I'm going to specifically target people with drug and alcohol issues and give you some material on general self-care. Now, self-care involves many things. Some of it involves taking care of our bodies, hygiene, grooming, proper medical, dental care, taking medications as prescribed, eating a balanced diet, which for people in recovery is an important thing, because during their addiction, people don't think of these things. The disease has taken over, and a lot don't eat right, don't sleep right, again, don't take care of their hygiene. And these are things they might have done for years. And now, the things that a lot of people take for granted, they have to relearn and get into the habit of doing it. Self-care also involves taking care of our environments. Keep our living environments sanitary and safe. Again, a lot of people neglect not only taking care of themselves, but taking care of their living area. So that's something too, that you want to keep your living area clean, safe, and by safe too, you want to make sure that you're protected from fire. You might have smoke detectors or an escape plan, or any other crisis situation. Obviously, when we're in our addictions, that can seriously interfere with our motivation, self-discipline, desire, and available time to do these things. At times, you may have relied on others to do some of these things for you. As you begin the recovery process, you have to assess the areas of self-care that you've neglected and the impact of that neglect, so that you can begin to take better care of yourself. In turn, you'll feel better about yourself, and ultimately your interactions with others will improve. So I want to give you some questions to think about it, and as I go through them, please write them down. It might be embarrassing, but you can't solve these problems of self-care if you're not aware and your recovery depends on it. So again, just as we were in denial with our addictions, we have to break out of that denial about some of those consequences. And one of those consequences is self-care, or lack of self-care. So please get a pen or pencil and some paper ready. And I'm going to go over some of these questions. Question number 1. What are some positive aspects of self-care? What do you do to promote healthy self-care? So healthy self-care, do I shower or bathe every day? Am I eating healthy meals? Am I getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep? Do I get any exercise? Do I have any time for meditation, prayer? These can all be positive aspects of self-care. Talking to other people might be one of them. Now, the next question is just the opposite. What are negative aspects of self-care? Or put another way, what are positive actions you avoid or neglect, or negative things you do to interfere with your healthy self-care? So again, a lot of these just the opposite. Am I just, doing nothing for any exercise, or nothing for my spirituality? Or am I only eating, one meal a day? Or am I not showering or bathing on a daily basis? Maybe you think that this isn't important, although, self-care is very important for you to be in recovery, because that's a relationship with yourself. And if you're tearing your body down physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and not taking care of yourself, the chances are you're probably going to go and maybe relapse. The next question: what are the personal, social, occupational, and relational impacts of not taking care of yourself? Well, the personal impacts would be, your body's run down, you're not eating right, you're not sleeping right. Hygiene isn't good. Socially, if you're not feeling good about yourself, you're probably not going to be presenting yourself that well to other people. Occupational, how you can be good at the job. If you're not eating right, if you're tired, if you're stressed, And of course, it affects the relationships, that we are in. Going with the kind of going in more with the personal and social. No one wants to be around a person who's, not taking care of themselves, not bathing, or, is miserable because they're not sleeping or they're stressed out. Three, what feedback have people given you about times you've neglected self-care? Now, for those of us, because again, this first part is for people in recovery. We should have a solid support system. Our sponsor, contact people in the rooms, healthy family members and friends. And you should listen to them. We all have blind spots in us, things that we can't see in ourselves, but other people can see in us, and vice versa. So when someone comes up and says, man, you're looking a little ragged, and are you sleeping well? You don't seem yourself. Don't react with hostility towards them. Take it as the constructive criticism that it is. Try to learn from it. People are just there to help you. The next question. Imagine for a moment the positive changes that can result when you give more attention to your appearance, hygiene, medical care, and sanitary living environment. Describe what this will look like and feel like for you. Again, working with clients over the years too. I mean, it's such a, some of them, they haven't done these in years. And the transformation, I mean, boosting their self-esteem and it's just, I had clients, because of their addiction, they didn't get dental work done, for example, and they were always ashamed. And when they finally got like their teeth fixed and things, they felt real good about themselves. So my guess would be that your self-esteem increases. And when you feel better about yourself, then that shows with other people. So it's like that old saying, you can't love another till you love yourself. So you got to love yourself, and you'll feel good. And again, when you're in your addiction, you don't think of these things. You don't care about, a lot of times, bathing or going to a doctor or how does my house look. Prioritize is the next question. Prioritize the self-care areas on which you will focus your efforts first. What will you do differently? Well, I always tell my clients we prioritize those things that are necessary and urgent first. So having said that, don't use is number one. Getting our basic needs met also is up there. So in other words, you want to eat. You want to eat 3 meals a day. Eat healthy. Try to get 7 to 9 hours sleep. Brush your teeth. Bathe. Those are the priorities first. If there's any medical or dental problems, make appointments for them. Or mental health, because, you know, we know that 50% of people in this country that have a mental health problem also have a drug and alcohol problem. So you need to take care of that mental health, any issues. If you're on, you know, mental health medications or medications for any physical problems, you need to take those. And almost always they're prescribed on a daily basis for chronic conditions. So that you have to prioritize first. You know, you probably don't want to go to a gym. You may, and again, that's a good thing, working out, but you may not want to do it. You know, if you haven't been eating right and sleeping right, you're probably not going to feel good to go into the gym. So prioritize, focus your efforts first. The next question: what's a specific plan? Outline a specific plan for daily self-care. Doing the same things in the same order each day and attending to your self-care priorities. I always teach that, especially if you're new to recovery or new to the getting into something, I always tell my clients to write things down on a list and then cross that list off. Probably better at first to do it at night before you go to bed. So for example, and I've had clients tell me, their sponsors tell them to do this right at the beginning, which is when you wake up, of course, hit your knees, pray to your higher power to give you strength to get through the day. Then they make their beds. Tell them to make their beds. And then it might be, I'm going to go brush my teeth, or I'm going to eat, or brush my teeth, shower, whatever order. Then it might be, you know, going to a support meeting. Again, because of the pandemic, not a lot are open, but there's plenty on Zoom. So maybe that, or maybe then you have a job, go to work. Plan out your day. If you have to take medications in the morning or at certain times of the day, make sure that those are maybe marked down until you get into that pattern, you get into that habit where you don't need to write things down anymore. Set aside, you know, what healthy things am I going to eat during the day? So those are things in the planning. Do I need to make any appointments? Doctor appointment, dental appointments, counseling appointments. The last question is, what help do you need to begin to carry out your plan? What resources are available in your community to help you? Who can you ask for help? We're fortunate in Erie County that we have a lot of resources. A number of churches and organizations, for example, if you can't afford food, will help you with food banks. The city mission will help with free meals. For medications and things, Community Health Net, St. Martin's Center, not only help you get medications, but in the case of St. Martin's Center, help you with clothing, other basic needs, Salvation Army, another place. So we have a lot of resources out there. But again, you have to ask for help. A lot of people, a lot of my clients have that pride, that they don't want to ask for help. I'm a grown man, I'm a grown woman, and I got myself in this mess, I can get myself out. No, you need help. Utilizing your support group. And I know from, personal experience of going to support groups myself and what my clients have said, they'll help you. When they see you're trying, I've seen people get jobs. I've seen people get places to live temporarily. They know, okay? But you got to ask. You got to swallow that pride. Family members and friends. Now that they see that you're sober and you're working a program and you're sincere, they'll help too. They don't want to see you go back down to your addiction. You also have to think about what are some of the barriers to carrying out your plan. If money is trouble, like I mentioned, there are places in the community that can help you with food, with shelter, with clothing, with furniture. Time frame. Well, again, you have to eat. You got to make time for that. You got to make time to sleep. All right. When it comes to some things too, as man, I need to work out, or money, healthcare. If you're not on medical assistance, get on medical assistance. If you're on private health insurance and you're more fortunate, that you already have it, utilize it. When it comes to exercise and stuff too, I know there's places like the YMCA that will give discounts based on income. So those are all things, that help with the money barrier. Motivation. Hopefully in recovery, with motivation is you start to internalize it more and more and want to do it for you. If you're doing it for someone else and you don't internalize it, it's not going to work. So you have to have that internal motivation. And sometimes it's hard. Again, if you've been in addiction for years, and especially, you're in early recovery, you sometimes have to play mind games with yourself. In other words, even though you might not deep down know you can do it, but think you can do it, and kind of convince yourself, because you need to do it. If you can't have the motivation to do the simple self-care, then you're going to give up, and you're going to go back into using, which is, something that none of us want. This concludes really our first part, the self-care with addictions. Again, it's important to stay connected. I cannot emphasize that enough. If you need counseling, I know in the Erie area, counseling is available by Zoom. There are some meetings open in the Erie area. Just go to type in AA meetings of Erie County. I'm more involved in AA, but I'm sure if you type in NA meetings of Erie County, that they'll pop up which ones are open and which ones are closed. You could also get listing of Zoom meetings. And I know a number of my clients have told me that there's an actual 24-hour meeting live that goes on. So get that. I know it might be a little hard to get a sponsor or something in these times, but that's important. You got to have that human contact and everything too. And if it has to be by Zoom, it's by Zoom, but it's something. And we should be blessed with the technology that we have now, where we can get the help when people can't be seen in person. Now, the second part, I'm going to talk about some ways to take care of yourself during this pandemic. And of course, some of these are not, specific just to people with drug and alcohol, but everyone needs to do these things in these tough times. And especially as I speak today, we're getting into a second wave of this virus, and people are going more and more indoors, just the nature of the weather. So I think it's more important than ever that we try to follow some of these self-care tips. Some of these things we mentioned before. Okay, some of these will be new. But the first thing is to prioritize your sleep. And we talked about that. We talked about that along with eating and sleeping. Because your mood and immune system are counting on it. When it comes to taking care of your health and well-being, sleep is pretty much always part of the answer. Getting enough good quality sleep keeps your immune system running at its best to fight off infections. Well, it's not only sleep, okay, but exercise, eating right, okay? But we have to keep that immune system up. There are parts, believe it or not, of the body's immune response that happen only during sleep. Now, scientists know sleep is also one of the ways we can keep stress in check. All right. And I think this is no surprise, right? If you're sleep deprived, it can make you more sensitive to the effects of stress in our lives, ramping up our reactions or overreactions. And regardless of that, the brain needs sleep to function. Without it, you'll be less patient and focused. You're going to make poor decisions, be more moody, irritable, and emotional. The second one, work it out. Spending a lot more time at home does not mean you have to be a couch potato. You need to stay active. And staying active not only keeps your body healthy physically, if you have a chronic health condition, such as high blood pressure or diabetes, you want to try to stay active. It also lowers your chance of acute illness, like COVID-19. It also helps our mood and well-being. So exercise. Staying physically active also helps with people with mood disorders. Okay. Boosts energy, improves your mood overall. So again, try to get exercise. You know, you might be a little down, get some exercise. Anxiety, and so forth. Thank God, if you remember, the gym and everything, you know, the gym's open at the end of June, and please go to the gym. I mean, again, follow the safety precautions. I know I go to the gym 5 to 6 times a week. I've had no problems. So. Third one, yoga. Okay. Yoga offers a laundry list of health benefits, from busting stress to stretching out inactive muscles to building strength to provide a burst of physical activity. Why might yoga be an especially useful tool to add to your coping arsenal right now? It links movement with breathing. And because both these factors can affect our body's stress reactions, yoga can be a silver bullet in tough times. 4, get a little silly. Basically, if it makes you feel like a kid and a little silly, it can be a mood booster. Play in any form can cause a cascade of positive neurochemicals, serotonin, oxycodone, and dopamine. Even just a minute of childlike activity can cause a good chemical surge, especially if you're feeling stressed. Number 5. This goes into what we talked about before. Again, some of these things are repeating ourselves from our first part. Eating right. Are you now spending your days within eyeshot or arm's reach of your snack drawer, rather than self-imposed strict rules on what foods are off limits? Try intuitive eating. It's not a diet so much as a way of eating that's all about giving your body what it needs when it needs it. Intuitive eating doesn't restrict any specific foods or have you counting calories. It's a practice in which you listen to your body and pay attention to what you need in the moment. Is it time for a meal or a snack? You eat when you feel hungry, and you stop eating when you feel full. We are what you eat. I mean, I think it's human nature. You know, we get ourselves a little down or whatever. We want to eat something, especially sweet, but it's not really a good idea. You know, it just messes up our bodies and everything even more. So 6, swap out 1 coffee for decaf. Now, caffeine is one of the most researched substances with more than 10,000 studies to date. Not surprising with that many studies, that's led to a wide range of conclusions. But one that's fairly consistent is that having too much can lead to less than ideal effects. Researchers noted that getting more than 400 milligrams of caffeine daily can affect our central nervous system, our stomach, and sleep quality. It can even increase anxiety and stress. So try to limit the daily amount. Now, that's very true. And we're talking about coffee. We're talking about, you know, energy drinks. We're talking about caffeinated pops like Pepsi, Coca-Cola. It's a stimulant. First of all, if you do too much and try to get off of it, you're going to get headaches. So there's a physical effect on the body. But more important, and this goes back to our target audience of people that are in recovery, there's a couple of problems. One, if you're on mental health medications, and again, 50% of you who have mental health problems also have a substance abuse problem, then if you're doing too much, it just messes with your mental health meds. And it does that by, number one, of course, it's a stimulant, so it's a drug, but also you're urinating more frequently and you're not getting the right levels. The second problem caffeine has, and I've had clients, especially clients addicted to cocaine and methamphetamine, they try to replicate that feeling, you know, slamming as many energy drinks as they can and stuff. They can't get it, but they try to replicate that feeling. So don't, you know, if you can keep it to 1 or 2 pops or 1 or 2 cups of coffee, that's fine. But don't overdo it. 7, the power of baking. Okay. And by baking, you know, let's try to bake, you know, as healthy as we can. But they find that doing something creative can promote the feeling of well-being. And baking does that because for many people, that act of creating something delicious feels like pressing a reset button. And it also could be an activity you could do with kids and stuff too. You know, get them involved. 8, when you need an energy boost, don't go for that candy bar, okay? Reach for a high protein snack, okay? Protein helps you feel full longer and avoid the energy crash you might experience after the high of those carb-heavy snack subsidies, all right? So think of things like hard-boiled eggs, okay? Greek yogurt, nut butters, vegetables. Again, don't hit the Hershey bars, things like that. 9, keep stress-busting foods on hand. Certain foods can actually have a stress-lowering effect. Warm foods, such as soup or tea, are soothing. The omega-3 in fatty fish may improve mood. Avocados are packed with vitamin C and B6. These are things that are known to help reduce stress. Dark chocolate, okay, is antioxidant rich, which is great for thwarting stress. Other foods that can help include bananas, oranges, leafy greens, and of course, drinking plenty of water. Our bodies are mostly water anyways. 10, leave stress-inducing foods in not so convenient places. Though you might be inclined to indulge in treats, know again that this may be counterproductive. Foods that exacerbate or mess with stress in a less savory way include caffeine, which we mentioned before, refined sugars. You don't have to cut them out completely, but try to limit that intake and enjoy them in moderation. #11, practice kindness and gratitude. Clinical studies have found that people regularly practice gratitude or kept a gratitude journal, report better well-being, physical health, and increased optimism about the future. Practicing kindness is sometimes easier said than done, particularly when we're in tight quarters, tension is high. But remember that everyone is going through a tough time right now. Again, for those of you in recovery, I'm sure your sponsors have, and I've done this with clients when they start getting down on themselves and the self-pity. I have them make a list of what you're complaining about, and then I want them to do the gratitude part. And almost always, they have more things to be grateful for. I know sponsors have told their sponsees they want them to list at least 5 things every day, again, in that gratitude journal, that that help them, understand how grateful we are and what we have to be grateful today. And again, helping others. For those of you, again, in recovery, the 12th step is giving back. So by helping others, we actually get back in return too. 12, positive self-talk. A major aspect of self-care is the self part, and that includes how you view yourself, and importantly, the language you use when talking to yourself. Appreciate the small tasks you do during the day. Remember to tell yourself a good job, whether it's a work task, making time for exercise, or keeping your patience when disciplining your child. Celebrate your daily successes with positive self-talk. It might feel weird at first, but your brain will soak up that self-care goodness. And research suggests it can help begin to turn your thoughts and feelings in a happier direction. Again, it's easier said than done, like they said, but especially for people that have had, negative self-esteem, self-image over the years, might have to seem like you're tricking yourself, but you're really not. You're really doing it for the benefit. 13, change your passwords to be your mantra. This one is good for your mental health and your digital security. For a password you use regularly, such as unlocking your laptop or accessing online banking, whatever you need to do, change it to an option that's meaningful but still security-minded. For example, if your mantra is, "I'm enough every day," use the first letters of those words, pair it with numbers and symbols. Repetition is a powerful trigger for our brain. If you think of that phrase numerous times a day when using your password, it's easier to have to soak in as an affirmation. 14, make one of your pens a magic one. Choose a pen at random and designate that this is your magic pen that you use only for writing positive things. Yes, I acknowledge that this one sounds a little strange, but this method can help some people change their mindset in a positive way. And it's worth giving it a try in case it works for you. We create powerful connections with objects. Just think of your favorite toy as a kid or a memento from a special trip. And we can tap into this positive connection whenever we want, just by assigning a significant attribute to that object and using it that way. Try out your new magic pen by writing a love note to yourself first. 15, take a few minutes to practice diaphragm breathing. Calm and measured breathing can have immediate effects on your mental and physical state. Whether the tension comes from the relentless news cycle or your ever-present housemates, do your breathing practice regularly? Start or end your day in a positive way, or try in a moment when you need a little more zen. 16,
try alternate nostril breathing. Deep breathing is very, very useful for slowing down the nervous system. If anxious thoughts keep pinging around, try this alternative strategy. First, exhale completely, then inhale deeply. On your next exhale, gently place an index finger against your right nostril to close it off. Inhale using just your left nostril. Then move your index finger to the left nostril to close that one off. And exhale through only the open right nostril. Continue alternating sides and repeat it 15 times. "17, give yourself a meditation break. You don't need any special equipment or space for this one. You can do it anytime, anywhere. Simply put, meditation is thinking deeply or focusing your mind for a set period of time. The benefit: meditation can help reduce stress, ease symptoms of depression, regulate negative thinking. If you're looking for another tool to add to your arsenal to combat the stress, consider it. Just as with deep breathing, you'll be happy to know there's no shortage of meditation." 18, chill out with music. Turn off that TV in favor of some mood-boosting tunes. Music therapy. It's been found that music therapy helps to lessen symptoms in people with mood problems, such as anxiety and depression, and lift self-esteem. And you probably don't need any type of clinical study to tell you that blasting your favorite music will put a smile on your face. 19, practice mindful listening. Mindful listening is another way to soak in the present moment and let go of lingering worry and stress. Take a few seconds and sit back, really listening to all the sounds around you. Even if that's just the hum of an overhead fan or the panting of the dog at your feet. Try to integrate this into your day in tiny 10-second breaks. The more you do it, the more habitual it'll become. 20, stand up and stretch. Sometimes all you need to do is change your body position for about 15 to 30 seconds to give yourself a restart. When you make a conscious and physical shift, like standing up and stretching, your mind recognizes the change and responds in a beneficial way. Consider it a mini break for mind and body alike. Try standing up and stretching your arms high overhead, bending over to touch your toes, or sitting on the floor in a cross-legged position for a hip opening stretch. 21, and this is a big one. Call family and friends. Social connections. Again, we're in recovery. Our sponsors, contact people in the program. 22, use social media mindfully. Social media and other virtual tools allow you to connect with friends and family even when you're apart, which a lot of us are, especially our relatives and friends in other cities. But they can also have unintended consequences if and when using them becomes excessive or consuming. How can you make sure you're using them wisely? The more personal your social media interactions, the better, experts say. Use it intentionally. Be selective about who you follow and what tools you're using. And take time to disconnect. Okay? If you're feeling isolated, make a point to call a family or friend rather than use the social media. "23, try to avoid the nonstop consumption of news. Again, I know it's hard. I'm not saying to be ignorant. Go to places that could just give you maybe a recap. The PBS NewsHour always has a recap at the beginning. Focus on positive things in the news. I know one of the things I do is I look at what's the latest progress on a COVID vaccine. So try to avoid the news consumption. 24, laughter. Okay. You know, we've heard the saying, laughter is the best medicine. Okay. But it's a great stress relief. It really works. Getting a funny movie and things, it does. And physiologically, it works because when you laugh, your intake of oxygen-rich air, which of course helps your heart, your lungs, muscles, and you're also releasing those feel-good hormones, the endorphins, which can ease tension and add to an overall sense of well-being. Research has even linked humor and laughter to improved immune function, since it can produce antibodies, activate the body's protective T cells. 25. And this might seem superficial, but buy yourself a new outfit. You know, how we dress does impact our self-esteem. And just because you might not be heading out because of this COVID, it doesn't hurt, you know, to spiff yourself up. So try buying a new outfit that's comfy enough for the couch, but makes you feel good too. 26, recall a de-stress success. Remember again, our mindset is everything. Dwelling on stress and how long you might have put up with it can actually make the stress worse. So think about when you had a tough situation before and recall them. When recalling them can not only lower your stress levels, but also make you feel more resilient and upbeat. Again, this is we go back, we talk about journaling, you know, for gratitude. I always tell my clients too, like, you know, when they get in a high risk situation or a craving situation, you know, if they write it down, they think back on how they handled it better, that'll give them more confidence when they handle it a second time. Okay, 27. What works for you when it comes to dealing with stress? You got to find your personal stress releasers. For me, it's talking to other people, it's exercise. For others, it could be, you know, some of the, again, a lot of the things we mentioned before. It could be meditation, deep breathing, journaling, whatever's best for you. 28, try to get your finances in order. More of a peace of mind. And again, I know a lot of people, especially in early recovery, have financial problems because what their addiction has caused. If you're in debt, there's help. You know, I always tell people to go to family services, and they have a consumer credit counseling thing. Will help you with credit card debt, maybe some other debt too. But remember, if you can, try to save as much as you can for an emergency. You don't want to have the worry of falling short. If you're having problems with like bills and stuff, go to those people. You know, the gas company, the electric company, and you know, the landlord. Okay, see if you can come up with something. Again, you don't want to be losing your place or having your heat shut off or anything like that. So it's get your finances in order. 29, have your brain become more resilient. Okay. And whatever skill, you know, you have to exercise the brain. For me, I've been trying to learn Spanish. Okay. For some people, crossword puzzles. Some people, maybe it's going on, you know, TED Talk. Whatever you do, you got to keep your mind active. '30. Try to get some self-help books on practicing what we've been saying, being more resilient, wellness, stress. 31. Maybe go online, check out any movies or documentaries on dealing with stress. You know I have both Netflix and I have Amazon Prime, and just, you know, they have documentaries and stuff, or go on the internet. 32, declutter a part of your home. You know, one of the things, especially real early in this COVID, when again everything was shut down, you know, gym and church and things like that. One of the things that my wife and I did, we cleaned out, two of the closets. I actually painted one. We redid our laundry room. So do something like that to make yourself feel good. Okay. '33. Do something you enjoy, a hobby, painting, drawing. I know a big thing for my wife is doing her gardening. Just some kind of distraction. 34, try to listen to an uplifting podcast. You know, podcasts that can give you good advice on self-care, but also make you feel lighter and brighter. 35, donate to a cause you believe in. And one of the things that I did, Glen Bay is affiliated with the Cleveland Clinic, and Cleveland Clinic had a fundraiser, so to speak, on directly trying to deal with COVID, trying to find treatments for COVID, and they would match it. So I gave a donation. I felt good. It was my way of trying to do something concrete to deal with this virus. 36, with the donation, support your local community. As we know, a lot of businesses are struggling. So, go and order your favorite takeout. You're helping someone in the community. 37, maintain or start a home garden. Again, my wife has been gardening for years and years. I know that it's helped her a great deal through this. And even talking with her about what she has accomplished in the garden daily helps me. There's beauty in it. Something like about getting into the dirt and stuff that helps out a lot. 38, try virtual therapy. Well, right now, because of the pandemic, all therapy is virtual through Zoom. I feel it works. I obviously do my therapy through Zoom and have been doing it since April. So if you need it, try it. 39. Try aromatherapy. Certain scents can have a calming effect, all right, on the body. In other words, it'll help with stress. It helps even with depression. The best scents to consider are things like lavender, jasmine, lemon balm, clary sage, and bergamot. 40. Give yourself a mani-pedi cure. 41. Try giving yourself a facial. 42. Take a long, relaxing bath. And 43, if you have pets, taking care of them will help you taking care of yourself. Help with your anxiety, especially playing with dogs if you have them. We have 2 cats, and that's a common effect with them purring next to me and petting them and so forth. So that's all the time we had. Again, in conclusion, you got to love yourself. And by doing that, you got to practice self-care. It's important for everyone, but especially for those of us that are in recovery. Because we don't want to get depressed. We don't want to get stressed out, overtired, hungry, because we know those are triggers that can lead us back into using. Thank you very much for being with me today. Keep safe, and goodbye.